Everyone, gather around your podcast platforms.
Don't forget about the giveaway at 9.
Don't forget about the giveaway at 9. Put on your masks, because this is a special episode of Bored and Annoyed.
Woo!
Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
We decided that since it's in the spirit of the season, and especially since there is a new Halloween film coming out this upcoming weekend, that we would do a special episode on Halloween. And we decided to focus this on chapters 1, 2, and 3. I am Jackson.
And I am home at the movies.
And welcome to our extra spooky episode of Bored and Annoyed.
Bored and Annoyed.
So let's just get started. Let's talk about the first Halloween. 1978 classic, John Carpenter.
Yep.
Many see this as the quintessential horror film, certainly the quintessential slasher film, I would say.
It's the most influential of the series by far.
Oh, it's the only... I actually looked up the Rotten Tomatoes reviews of the Halloween franchise.
Right.
Only one with good reviews.
Makes sense.
The only one.
Makes
and
absolute
it's
sense.
I think like 98% or so. I mean, it's a beloved classic.
It's a pioneer of its time.
Yes.
It creates the bare bones of the slasher movie.
Correct.
It in retrospect, it doesn't move beyond their bare bones.
No, but it doesn't need to.
It doesn't need to.
If the ones that did lost something because of it.
I think you can do something in addition to what this does and have a better movie. But considering it's a pioneer and it's doing different things that hadn't been done in film before,
Sure.
I'm giving it more credit. And you have to give it more credit because it had like a small ass budget.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I think it's almost a perfect movie. Almost. But it's very lean. So it's not hard to be perfect.
Right. So didn't the mask that Michael Myers have, wasn't that like they didn't have a costume for Michael Myers, I believe.
It was an in-production William Shatner Kirk mask, I believe.
And I think they only had like one mask. Like they didn't have like one for a stunt double. Like this movie was made super cheaply.
Yes.
And you can tell in certain aspects of it. Very limited location. Some of the acting not the greatest. Some of the blood very fake.
Well, it's funny because some of the acting's not the greatest, but you can see how Jamie Lee Curtis was going to become a big deal because she's good in it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Especially for a film like this, she's like fine.
She's the best person in the movie.
Yes.
Though
Donald Pleasance.
Yes,
as Dr.
Loomis.
Yes. He's like the cheesy overacting. I tried to tell them.
I shot him 6 times. What? I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart.
Can't have gotten very far. Come on.
I shot him 6 times.
Yeah.
This guy, this man, he's not human.
There was nothing human behind those eyes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think that line comes straight from Jaws where he talks about he had the darkest eyes, black eyes.
You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
It's like the same line as the monologue from Quint in the basement of the ship or the bottom of the ship or whatever. But yeah, no, it's a great movie. It's a classic. The music, the score by John Carpenter is fucking awesome.
Do I think that it's overrated? I hear you say, Jackson.
You probably do. You little shit.
It's really tough. It's kind of like
you're gonna get lambasted.
It's
by
not. Well,
fans
it's not like.
By the way.
It's not like Star Wars, where like I feel like Star Wars. You look at Star Wars, and Star Wars really, really, really holds up. I look at this one, and I'm like, you have to take into account the budget, and you have to take into account the time in which the filmmaking was being made, and sort of like the acting that was going on at the time. It's like I'd say it's like a B.
Oh yeah, you're dead wrong. It's an A+ for sure. It's not even a question.
But it's
see, I'm gonna stop you here because one thing you said is ridiculous. This is a timeless movie. There's nothing in this that you watch it and you go, oh well, that's just stupid. Like the acting, okay, like her friend, for instance, is pretty bad.
Yeah,
but
I mean, look at like. There are certain things in it that I do look at and I'm like, that is ridiculous.
What, like her stabbing him with the needle thing in the neck and thinking he's dead and dropping the gun or dropping the knife every 3 seconds? That's
pretty bad. When he's coming at her, she doesn't know that he's there. And he stabs, like he misses her and hits the couch instead. It's the first time he's missed.
Yeah, but that's just, whatever.
It's
a horror trope. It's
fine. But you're willing to forgive it because you're willing to forgive it because you love the movie. But it's a pretty big thing where I'm like, come on, really? And then there are certain things that I watch and I'm like when he stabs his sister at the beginning.
It's great.
It's funny.
It's great.
It's funny because she's just like,
It's great. Clearly you wouldn't look up at your knife as you're stabbing your sister.
That's pretty good.
But it doesn't matter. We might have to cancel this episode early. He's already getting nitpicky and ridiculous on this.
It's cheesy and funny, and I had a good time with it, but I wouldn't say it's like I'd say the cinematography is actually pretty good.
That's great.
And structurally, as far as like creating like a new sort of form of horror, that's impressive because it's something that didn't exist.
The whole stalker vibe of him is fantastic.
It's good. I do like the POV shots coming from him
with the
I will
mask
say,
breathing,
and that brings me to another nitpick. I sort of have this with like old horror movies just in general though. But like they're like, he doesn't feel anything. He has no rhyme or reason, no good or bad. And then I'm like, well, he doesn't kill children. He kills women. And he kills like men who get in his way, but it's mostly
he kills people that like remind him of his sister, though.
Seemingly, yes.
Yeah.
But like I was like, well, if he was a terrible person, he'd kill that little girl. He would have killed the boy. Like he doesn't kill them.
He would have though. They ran out of the house. He wouldn't have stopped. He wouldn't have not killed them. I don't think.
Well, there was a time when he could have killed the little girl when she was over at the house when she was by herself, and he chose not to. And that's sort of the thing about Michael Myers.
Yeah, but then he'd give himself away. Like he's smart.
Would he give himself
away?
He
could, he could butcher the kids trick-or-treating on the street, but he can't do that because then he's caught.
No. I'm talking about like the girl's by herself and like her sister's out locked in the thing. He could have killed her there if he wanted to. Like if
I suppose you're right, but then the sister could have gotten out and then seen the body and then ran over and told somebody, whatever. Whereas the kids, if they see something, there is a kid who sees him multiple times and everybody just kind of goes,
it's the boogeyman.
Yeah, right.
There was another nitpick that I have, which is
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
Jamie Lee Curtis sees him like 3 times.
Sure.
And she doesn't like I'm sorry. I'm just
She does say something to her friend.
She says something to her friend, but I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like wait, does she see him 3 or 4 times? No, 4 times. Behind the bush, when he's driving the car, and when she's at school.
Well, she doesn't really see him when he's driving the car, though. Like, you can't, like, from her point of view, it's just a car, like a suspicious-looking vehicle. Right. She thinks, like, oh, maybe I'm just being a little nuts. But she saw a guy looking at her in a mask while she was in school. But then she looked over and he was gone, and then she's like, oh, well, maybe I just was
But then she sees the car later, but then,
Yeah, this is a bad nitpick.
Then I'm saying he comes out behind the bush. Nitpick. Comes out behind the bush. And she's like, he was there. And then I just love the idea of like Michael you never see him run, but to get away from that bush in time so that they wouldn't see him, he probably knew he had to have run. And I just would have loved to have seen that.
Jogged away, for sure.
But then she sees him again watching her in her bedroom from like the clothesline. And I'm like, that's enough times for me to be like, okay, there's a dude in a mask and a jumpsuit following me around. Halloween. Nope.
It's Halloween. Somebody's playing a prank on her.
I've never had that happen in my life, but guaranteed I see that dude 3 times.
This was pre-Me Too.
What?
pre-Me Too,
This has
Alex.
nothing to do with Me Too.
This was the 70s. They didn't worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, everybody kept their doors unlocked.
No, I mean, she was, whatever. Again, this is a terrible nitpick. It doesn't break the movie at all that she sees.
It makes me think
time.
that she's stupid.
I don't agree with that. She's the standard horror movie trope as we know it now, where it's like a girl who, this is obviously the one who's going to survive because
Right.
she's not like the sexually promiscuous one.
Right.
She does smoke pot once in the movie. But
She does?
Yeah, before they go and drive by her friend's dad, who's the sheriff at
Right,
the mask
that's right,
store,
that's
where
right.
he
Yep,
broke in and
yep.
stole the mask.
That was another funny bit, too.
I liked that bit.
When he's like, a bunch of teenagers stealing knives
Yeah.
and ropes and
Yeah.
a mask.
Yeah, well, who else would do it?
That was so funny. It is. It's just, it's a little schlocky.
Yeah,
Like,
you're completely out of bounds on this review. I can't believe we even are doing this. I'm sorry to the fans. I apologize.
It's a fun movie. Like, I'm not.
It's a great movie.
It's
great.
It's fun.
You have to watch these, especially in the time period that they came out. Like, my mom always told me that when she went and saw this in the theater, like, it was like fucking petrifying.
And I can imagine it would be terrifying at the time.
And I think it still works being scary because there's something about him just stalking. Like, those are the
scary
scenes
that really works.
Yeah, the scary parts aren't when he like comes in and stabs at her and she hits him with the thing. It's just creepy dude.
Yes.
Fucking across the street,
Yep.
staring at you, stalkerish guy. You
Right.
know.
Right. No, and I'm not saying there aren't scenes that don't work, because there are obviously scenes that work. I actually think the first scene when he's a little kid actually works pretty damn well, other than the silly acting.
You hate the POV knife stabbing scene.
When he looks up at the knife it's a little ridiculous.
What else are you going to show?
Well, and I look
I mean,
at
you
it,
could do it now because the technical advancements
exactly,
could do it.
and that's
now.
why I give it a pass on that one. But her acting is pretty bad, and it's pretty funny.
great. Fine.
It's funny, and the blood is
John Carpenter probably had her paid like $12.50
Yep,
to
so she
show her,
could
to be nude. and-
Yep. That was but yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of really good sort of stalkerish scenes. So those are the scenes that are effectively scary and well done, especially for the time.
Right. I like the scene where he stabs the dude up against the fucking wall and just stands there and stares at him and tilts his head. He does that like Michael Myers head tilt. Like he's still a child.
Right.
He's got that like childish curiosity about him.
I liked that he did that. It's always kind of funny to me because like, so that door opens and then he happens to be in the closet to the right of that door. But it's like, how did you do that with the door? Was that the wind or was that, did you do
knows?
that? Because he's got like
he's got like
little traps, but it's like, there's no way you could have touched that door and then ran into that closet. But, it's fine. It's just, he has little traps like that where something makes a noise.
I liked the ghost part too, where he puts the sheet
Oh
over
my God.
top of him and puts the
That
sunglasses
was
on.
the scary. I feel like that was the scariest Michael Myers was in the whole movie.
When
if
he
I'm
comes
honest.
in with the ghost outfit on.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty fucking creepy.
There's a bit in the second one like that we'll get to.
Yeah.
That I kind of liked too. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a classic. It's a classic movie.
It is a classic.
There's some of the shots in it, like the camera's tilted just enough to kind of make you feel off kilter, and then the music in it, just the old school Halloween score.
Yeah,
It's fucking great.
it's good.
There's one shot in particular that I love when the kid's getting picked on at school.
Yes.
And Tommy Doyle or whatever the kid's
Yeah.
name is. He's getting picked on at school, and then like the other kids, the bullies are running away,
Yes.
and like there's like kind of a jump scare thing where they run into Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Boogeyman! Boogeyman! Boogeyman!
And it's like, and then you just kind of follow Michael as he walks with Tommy Doyle, kind of like
Gets
he's
in
just
the car,
watching him,
follows him from the
but you're not
car.
even seeing Michael's head.
Yeah.
It's just his torso.
Yep.
And then he walks to the car.
You understand.
Fucking so good.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. This movie has really good long takes.
Yes,
a lot
correct.
Because there was like, I did like too, and it's jump scare is like almost a derogatory term now with
but it
horror
can be
films.
done correct. There was a jump scare in the movie we saw in the last episode that I thought was the best jump scare of the year.
The jump scare when he's at the house.
Okay, which one?
When he's just sort of like she doesn't even know he's there.
Oh,
it's at the beginning of the movie.
Right. It's his house.
Yeah,
right.
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. I even thought that the jump scare when the doctor and the sheriff show up at the house and like I don't quite know what happened because it's like a street lamp comes and hits the window and breaks the window.
Yes. I think it's just kids being assholes.
Okay.
Because that's the Myers household.
Right.
You know, it could be that. It could be Michael, like trying to get them to leave the fucking house, and he knows they're an actual threat, so he's not going to go in there and fuck with them.
Could have been that. Yeah.
You know.
God, I love Dr. Loomis. Though.
Oh, Dr. Loomis is just classic cheese in the best way. Oh, no one believes me.
Oh, so he can be cheese.
Yeah, but he's-
nothing else in the movie is cheesy. Just him.
No. It's cheesy, but you're acting like it's cheesiness in like a derogatory way. This genre is cheesy, period.
Yes.
Right.
And that's where I like it was one of the first times in a long time where I was like, I see the value in a pure horror film.
Yes.
Because there were scary bits, but there were also bits that were funny and made me laugh. Now, they weren't intentional, or maybe, no, there's no way they were intentional. But that's the quaintness of like an old horror movie that you don't get with a modern one where it's just like manufactured and bland and by the books.
See, now I see it like I don't see the opening scene looking at the knife. I don't see that as cheese. To me, that's just like, well, it's an old movie.
Right.
You know, whereas Dr. Loomis is just,
he's pure cheese.
He's great.
Pure uncut cheese.
He's a great fun character because he's one of those like he looks and seems insane. He's been driven insane by this guy, basically. And not in the standard way, but just like I've been telling everybody about this guy forever.
Yep.
And nobody has ever believed it. Still nobody believes it.
Yep.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
And now, like, it has all my fears have come true.
Yep.
And he's just desperate.
They don't break the movie for me, but I do sort of look at it. I was like, there are some conveniences in the plot too. Like he stops at like a payphone at the side of the road, and it happened to be where Michael had killed the guy to get the jumpsuit.
Yep.
And so like, I understand why that's there. It's there for narrative efficiency. You don't need another scene of like where he, of course, I'm like, I don't even care where he got
Dr. Loomis like didn't even see the dead guy though.
That's
right?
true. He just saw the empty sheets of
Right.
the mental hospital sheets.
Yeah, so it wasn't like overly gratuitous.
No.
I mean, it was a stop. It was like you assume it's out in the country. It's one of the only places you would stop.
Yeah.
I mean, where else is he going to kill somebody and take his jumpsuit?
Right. Right. There were some good bits in there though. It's
solid. Yeah, it's great. Dude, the closet scene is great too. When she's just down in the fucking bottom of the closet, and he's just fucking like frantically stabbing at the shitty wood door to get through to the.
Of course, I don't understand why he's like. Wait, you understand how doors work, right?
Well, she had it like tied from.
Oh,
the
that's right.
inside.
That's right.
And
he's super strong.
But he's also getting off on scaring someone. Like, I don't think he's all about efficiency. Like, clearly, if he was about efficiency, he would run and chase you and kill you.
He's
true. He's wanting to scare you. He knows she sees him watching her all day. Right. You know?
That's so weird to me, though, because it's like, it makes him seem very egotistical and kind of stupid. Because it's like, you could just open the door and stab her.
Yeah, but because
he's got like super.
I think he's trying to open the door and he's getting fucking frustrated, and then he,
because he's super strong, man.
He's a badass.
Because he lifted that dude with like one arm.
Oh, and there's
stabbed him.
There's a worse one in the second movie that he does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, The
That second
one.
movie, holy
All
shit.
right. Well, that's the first one. A+ for me. You're saying it's a B?
It's a B for me.
Yeah. Alex says skip Halloween.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
say skip.
don't watch it. That's what he said.
What?
Yep.
Never
I
said
heard
it.
I heard it.
Never.
All right,
never.
Halloween 2. Do we skip Halloween 2?
I don't know. I fell asleep during this movie. I had to go back and start watching it again.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. Man, he's not human.
Universal Pictures presents Halloween 2. More of the night he came home.
Who is it?
There was nothing within him, neither conscience nor reason, that wasn't even remotely human.
This is some kind of a joke. I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
You don't know what death is.
This movie is not scary at all. This movie is awful.
Yeah, it's okay.
No,
I don't
it's
hate
bad.
this. It's one
bad.
of the better sequels, which, that's not saying much.
I feel like the whole sort of like clean narrative of the first one is undone in this one because you've got like a bunch of different people in different locations and it's not really dealt with in a good way. None of them are likable people. They're there are terrible people here to get killed.
No, there's the one character who has a crush on her that's a decent guy.
Yeah.
And then there's Dr. Loomis.
He was
The
from
cop's pretty good.
He was from The Last Starfighter.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right. He was like the star of it, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
So we turn to starfighters, navigators, or of all the billions of creatures in the Star League.
Yeah, no, but the cop is a decent guy who's like working with Loomis.
Which one? The one who takes over from the
The
sheriff
one who
after
Loomis is like, look, he could still be out there.
Right.
And yeah, the one who takes over. Yeah, and he's finally like, all right, we'll continue to search
But he
for
doesn't
him.
get killed, and he's
That's
never.
true.
I feel like the hospital is the main area where you have
okay.
like the more like real characters
Let's
that
set
have
this
like
up a bit. So the first one ends, like Loomis shoots Michael Myers like six times.
I shot him 6 times.
I shot him 6 times.
I shot him 6 times.
But yeah, he shoots Michael Myers,
This guy.
and Michael Myers like is gone.
Yeah.
So the second one picks up right where the first one left off.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it seems like at that time too. It doesn't seem like the way that they used to do that.
'Cause they show you, like,
and I will say that
three-
most of the people involved in the first Halloween thought this was a terribly bad idea to make this movie.
Right.
Like reluctantly signed on and made it.
There were certain things. Well, yeah. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Main premise is that Laurie Strode,
yeah.
Strode, she's taken to the hospital for her injuries against
Right.
Michael
From the first movie.
and then Michael is still out there and he's still killing people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they show like 3 or 4 minutes from the first one to sort of get you
I
back
hate
to where.
that when you've just watched it.
Yes, because that's how I did it. I watched them
Yeah.
all like in quick succession. That was a little annoying, and then
But if you hadn't seen it since it
Right.
was out in theaters,
it would
it's
be
like
a nice
little
refresher.
recap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny though because it points out like the only important part of the
Of
first
the movie that he gets shot and falls out a window.
Yeah, that's all you need to know is that in the first one, you had a girl who was running away and the bad guy got shot and disappeared.
Yeah. It is kind of funny because they realize like, oh, the sheriff's daughter got killed and we never finished that story thread. Oh, Loomis brought up the idea of like, don't tell the public because they'll see him on every street corner.
Yep.
And so they set that up because the people start trashing the Michael Myers house.
Yep.
They end up killing an innocent child.
I liked that. And,
Okay.
And I think that was the boy that she said she had a crush on in the first movie.
Was
too.
it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like that idea. Like, a masked guy gets killed. It's more like it kicks Loomis into big, like, nobody believes me mode again. You know, it's every movie he's in, like, no one believes him.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell him, and nobody fucking believes
The sheriff
guy.
is constantly like, you let him out. His own doctor.
That doesn't make sense. Right.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. He had nothing to do with letting him out.
And he keeps on saying it. You let him out. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I told them not to let him out.
They keep on doing that. I'm like, this is like the yes you did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. The kills in this are more creative.
No, they're fucking dumb.
They are dumb
They're
though.
so dumb.
But they are more creative. He boils a woman's face.
Yeah, but it ruins Halloween. Like Halloween is a perfect example of like the old Star Wars less can be more thing,
Right.
where it's like more creative things or not creative, but more like
Over the top.
it feels more interesting when you're not seeing everything. And like this one, like we need to make this one more gory. It felt like that. It
did.
felt like we need the kills to be bigger. And it's like they don't get what made the first one good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This one was just like, well, we don't really have shit to say. We don't have an interesting, really, movie here. Like,
No.
Let's just boil a dude's or a woman's face.
Yeah.
Let's boil a bare-breasted woman's face in a fucking hot tub that somehow gets hot enough to fucking boil the skin off of your face. To pick up from the last movie, you said he's super strong. He can lift someone by their...
Yeah.
In this movie, he stabs someone in the back with like an X-Acto knife and lifts them into the fucking air. It makes no sense.
It makes as much sense as him stabbing a dude onto like a piece of like wood. Like, because the guy in the first movie got stabbed onto like a cabinet door. I don't think that cabinet door could sustain his weight.
Whatever.
And also, the knife clearly in the shot is not far enough into him to actually hold him up onto that wall.
It's a long knife, Alex.
It's
Probably not. But
it's not
But
long
you get
enough.
the point. The
Right.
point is, you could do it. Like, you could stab someone into a wall or a fucking strong cabinet door and have them stick. Like, maybe you couldn't with that cabinet door and whatever. But he lifted a man. It looked completely stupid.
It's
like in the first
dumber.
one, that looked really cool. And then he stands there and does that's one of my favorite Michael Myers things is when he tilts his head and looks at you like a child does, or like a dog or something.
That's my thing. Is like you could stab somebody into a kitchen cabinet, and have them stay, but I don't think you could do it if they were elevated. You could stab them and they couldn't get off. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
But
you don't think the weight would.
No, I don't think it could support.
But that's getting way too grand. It just looks dumb. All you had to do was give him a different thing, like find a hook or something.
I like when he kills the security guard with the hammer. And it just was funny because it's this like quick cut of like boom, hammer to the head.
Yep, done. Yeah, no,
it was funny.
My least favorite kill though is one that happens off screen, where like the boy character, I forget his name, the last Starfighter, walks into a room and there's a nurse with like an IV in her.
Right.
Michael did this.
Why did he do this?
This was what he was doing when he was off screen. He this is how he decided to kill this woman was to drain her blood with like an eye. Stupid.
Everybody in this movie is terrible at hiding too.
You're in a giant hospital. You could hide anywhere.
And like she does all these things like, okay, I know that it's a movie, and like when she sees the dead body, she screams like from the sheriff or whatever. Like she's running away from him at the end of the movie, and they're in like that boiler room or whatever, and then she screams when she gets to the body and then that just lets Michael Myers know where she is, and I'm like, come on, like where's your survival instinct?
Stupid, right?
Oh, there's a window right here. You know what I could do? I could just like go around all these like fucking pipes and shit, and then go back out the door because Michael's walking towards me. I could just move around. No. I'll go up to the tiniest little window. Why? That would not be anybody's first reaction.
Because a better scene that makes, Alex.
It's just, I just kept on thinking like this is bad. And then, my least favorite thing, she tries yelling help when
and
Loomis
then as soon as the door closes, it comes out as the loudest help you've ever heard.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that was stupid.
It's a bad movie.
It is pretty bad. I mean, it's okay. I don't hate this movie.
I would say it's like, it's not as fun as 3. and it's nowhere
No,
near
I
as
would,
good as
I
2.
would watch 3 it was way more entertaining.
Like 3 is a dumb fucking movie, but 2 is just, it's just nothing.
There's nothing there, right? Now, the important thing about this movie is it opens the lore to Laurie as Michael's sister.
That was my favorite scene in the whole movie because I was like, oh, something is happening.
Right. But the whole like Celtic thing.
I don't like
Sam Hain.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Dr. Loomis knows all about
Sam Hain.
Sam Hain. It means the Lord of the Dead. The end of summer. The festival of Sam Hain.
Why would he know about it? Why would he know about it?
I don't know.
Michael doesn't talk.
He would have had to have talked to Michael about it. But yeah, he said, I don't know. It's weird. But no, what do you think about Laurie being Michael's sister? Does it make sense? Like, if you're watching the first, does it really make sense?
No. It makes, I mean, they tried to write it like,
they retconned the shit out of
her
it.
parents died, or, yeah.
She was 2.
Yeah.
And her parent, I forget what happened to her parents.
They just say her parents died.
Yeah, right.
2 years after.
Right.
And it's like, okay. You know what I really would have liked is like, we find out that like he killed the parents. Like maybe they set it up early, like, oh, he killed the parents. Like, get that reveal out of the way early, because it's just, there's nothing in this movie.
Yeah, well, and it's weird, too, because now, obviously, this brings on the conversation of, in the new movie, this has been erased from the canon.
Yeah, thank God.
So we assume that Jamie Lee Curtis is no longer Michael's sister.
Right.
She's just random survivalist woman who thinks that... Now, why is he going to be after her in this one? Just because she fucked him over the first time?
I think so. The thing is like once you erase the other movies, he's a serial killer, yes.
Really
but he killed like 4 people in the first one.
You can erase all of the schlocky, fucking dumb, he's a monster shit. That you created.
That's the good side. The bad side is like, why is everybody like, oh my God, it's Michael Myers?
Because it's a small town and it would be a legendary story. I mean,
I suppose that's
Think
true.
about it. If he a little boy just snaps one day and is like well-to-do family, like living in the suburbs, stabs his sister to death, gets sent to a mental that alone would be like a legendary story for a small Illinois town.
Right.
And then he escaped one night on Halloween night.
I suppose
came back and murdered a few kids.
It does diminish him a little bit because like he's like a mass murderer.
I like it because it turns him back into
a human
guy who randomly snapped. There's no rhyme or reason for it. He wasn't mistreated as a child. He's not a fucking monster.
Yeah, wasn't the idea... I'm with you. I like the idea of putting him back into a human situation. Wasn't the idea in like 4 or 5 or whatever it was where like he had like a curse or something?
Yes, there's like a curse.
He has to kill all the members of his family or something.
Yeah, but that's if you're doing that, if you're making 7 Halloween movies, I mean, that's you end up going there because there's
nothing else to do.
And you have to explain how, wait a minute, he dies every 2 years.
Yes.
How do we bring him back?
Well, that's like, and that's the thing is like with
2.
with 2, like he gets burned. He gets shot a bajillion times. Like, I know he was shot a bajillion times in the first one, but it's kind of the idea of, like, he maybe slank away.
Right. No, but there's a weird shooting of his, like, eyes or something in the second one.
And then it's really funny because he gets confused and thinks when they're turning on, like, the gas, they're like, that's where a human is. And it's like, wait, you were so close. Don't you have, like, any spatial awareness whatsoever?
No, he doesn't.
And the funny thing is, it's like... Laurie keeps on making noises even after Loomis turns the thing. So it's like, what's with you, man?
Well, you know what's really funny is that both Loomis and Michael survived.
That's what I heard. That's fucking awesome.
Loomis has like a scar on his face in the next few movies.
I will say this.
And where does Michael keep finding these masks that are so similar?
Right?
Like... Yeah, the only way you find that the Michael Myers mask. Although, I mean, if it's like Scream, like, you know, in the Scream movies, they turned it into like, oh, so like now like Scream is a celebrity. Like they turned movies into the real thing that happened.
Right.
I suppose they could sell Michael Myers masks as like a, you know, sick Halloween gift.
He's just strange to me as a
Michael
character.
is?
Yes.
Yeah,
because he's virtually nothing. He's like a force of nature, but at the same time, it's literally that he's just the simplest thing ever. He's a kid who went nuts, and now he just doesn't talk and he kills people.
Yep.
So like, as much as I respect the first one for redefining the horror genre, I'm not sure if this is a franchise that was, and obviously it wasn't because it went into druid curses. And it had fucking what?
But it's a hugely successful franchise.
Right. No, and I get that. But it's kind of like the thing of like, it was built on something that maybe shouldn't have gotten a series, is what I'm saying.
Sure. If it was just Halloween,
I think it
would be the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Exactly.
And the legend of Michael grows because there's so many. I mean, if you've never seen the Rob Zombie one, like the Rob Zombie one turns him into a sympathetic character.
Does
where,
it?
Like as a kid, he was abused, and you learn about his treatment as a child and whatever.
Okay.
To me, it kills the character.
That's a little less interesting, yeah.
Because to me, it's interesting that he's like he's just evil. And there's no explanation for it. He's just the embodiment of evil in a human being. And I think there are people like that exist that are just fucking nuts.
Psychotics.
Yeah, right.
There are people that literally do not understand morals.
Yes.
And I like that. Sometimes I go back and forth because I'm like, I like Michael Myers and I like that he doesn't talk because it makes him scarier. But at the same time, it would be kind of cool to hear, like, I would love to hear him talk about like not understanding morals. Like not understanding why what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah, you should watch the zombie one. It's kind of interesting. Like they go way more into like Dr. Loomis selling a book. He's played by Malcolm McDowell, who was the star of The Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good, but it
sounds interesting.
It's Rob Zombie. The problem with it was the first half was interesting because it was something new. I didn't necessarily like it, but it's like, oh, he's doing something new here.
Right.
But then when he grows up and he breaks out of the asylum, same shit. Okay. Michael Myers comes to town, kills a bunch of teenagers, whatever, you know. So that was where it kind of lost me. But like as a kid, when he's like being picked on and shit, I think it ruins the mythos, in my opinion, because it's not as interesting to me. Like, no, I don't really want to feel bad for Michael Myers.
You demystified him, is what it is.
Exactly, yeah.
I think the solution to the series is that you understand that Michael is a force of nature. And by definition, he's almost not a character because of that. So you have to build characters into your series that are characters that are interesting.
Which is what Laurie can be.
Exactly.
I mean, she was good in the first one.
She
doesn't have a ton of shit to do. She's not a deep character. But like as your standard like teenage girl, she's not... her acting is good.
I think for the time, she works.
Yeah, I think she still works.
I think if like an exact basically carbon copy came out today, we'd be like, well, all the characters are thin. I think that would be the criticism.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree because nobody cares about that in a movie like this. You just don't care about it.
I always care. I always care about character.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with her character. It's a perfect character for every high school girl to relate to. If you do too much, then everyone can't relate to it. I
don't really care about...
She likes a certain boy. She needs to do her homework. She's babysitting for the neighbor boy.
Right. Well, she's like the saint character.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm saying.
She does smoke a doobie, though.
That's true.
Can't be doing that in horror movies. You'll get killed. Somehow she dodged that bullet.
It's sort of like the one trope that this movie, because this movie basically established the tropes.
It's great in Scream when they like reference all these movies.
But it's also one of those things where it's the one trope that it didn't follow, where she did do one bad thing, but she didn't get killed.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
Bad.
Well, no, it's not.
Right.
It's making a judgment call and smoking weed.
Yeah. But
now sex, that's the worst.
They do more with her character in future in H2O and such.
Right.
They
She's terrible in the second one, though. She's just terrible.
She's just not. There's no character.
There's just nothing
for her to
there.
do.
There's nothing
she's
there.
Laying in a hospital bed the whole fucking movie.
I never really understood. Like, I get like why she doesn't want to go under, but at the same time, it's kind of like
you wouldn't have to think about it if you were under.
I don't know. I look at it. I was just like, why is she so scared of going under? Like, I get she's scared of Michael, but she doesn't even know
She's
that
got
like
that PTSD.
he's gone. Yeah. Well, and I also was like, do they do that? Like when you lose blood, do they put you under?
No, who knows what they were trying to do.
That was kind of my thing. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I thought they just hooked an IV up to you. It doesn't make any sense.
What
why you'd be
what
put
grade
under.
do you give Halloween to?
Oh, that's a fucking F.
An F?
Oh yeah, that's an F.
Come on.
That's a mystery science theater movie.
No, it's a D. Halloween 2 is a D.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a D. It's fine.
No. I realized
you
I was,
will die.
I was going into that. I realized, so I had to. But no, it's just not good. It's not good, like in really any way. That it's just not good. I mean, maybe
All
maybe it's a D minus.
It's like a D, I think.
It's not. It's just not good.
Chicken. Go ahead, Lonnie. Go in.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
Let's talk about the main event. 3. Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch.
What is with that title? There's no witch in this movie.
It's witchcraft. It's like a witchcraft plotline.
Yeah. It feels like a stretch.
And the whole thing is like where Halloween came from, this like Celtic mythology and whatever at the end.
I feel like there's a better subtitle in there.
Yeah.
Like creepy masks or androids for no reason.
Hey, those androids though.
Oh, so plot of this one is that it's completely unrelated. Is when they were going to make an anthology.
Yeah, so the plan was John Carpenter and they kind of came up with, hey, I've got an idea. We can do all these. It's kind of something that's like ahead of its time, to be honest, because the idea was we can make these individual Halloween movies and then we could spin off of those. We can do all sorts of shit with all these different fucking movies that we're going to make.
Yep.
You know, and unfortunately,
this was the first one.
It bombed.
Well, yeah, this was the first one.
Yes.
And this is not where
if you're going to Halloween 3,
yeah,
and this is what you are watching.
Well, they put an ad for Halloween.
They did.
On TV in this movie, and it just feels like such a taunt. It's such a troll job on the fans. Like, don't you love the original? You're like, yeah, and I hate this. This fucking sucks.
Now, the funny thing is this movie has garnered quite the cult status. Like, it's a beloved movie at this point. But when it came out, it was shit on. And it's one of those that people like because it's like this wacky, fun movie. It's just a fun, like, Saturday. It almost feels like a Twilight Zone episode, like an old cheesy Twilight Zone episode.
It sort of feels like... It feels like a Halloween movie for kids. It just happens to have a decent amount of gore.
Yeah. And sex.
And yes, but you take those things out, you just do the straight plot and cut all of those shots, it's a kid's movie.
But yeah, so the plot, back to the plot. So the plot is basically it's Halloween and there's this guy, he's running down the street in like a business suit and he's being chased by these businessmen and he gets away and ends up in the hospital with this mask and he says, oh, they're going to do it. They're going to kill us all.
Yeah.
Like, blah, 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 blah. And the doctor there, like, hears this, walks out of the room and one of these businessmen, bad guys, comes in and kills him.
Right.
So then he's got this mask on him and the daughter shows up and like basically the doctor's all upset because nobody does this in my hospital.
Right.
And the daughter comes in and he like kind of befriends her and they go to try to solve the mystery of who was this guy?
Yeah.
What was he doing? Why was he in danger? Who were the killers? Whatever.
Yes.
Some of my favorite things about this movie.
Okay.
First off, our main character is like this schlubby, like older doctor.
Yeah.
And he's flirtatious with both the nurse and the daughter of the dead guy.
Yeah, he seems like a bit of a scumbag.
Yeah, it's great. So he like goes over to the ex-wife's house, and she's just nagging at him because he's just obviously like he must just be a turd or something.
He must have cheated on her. I that's what I get from it.
He comes over with masks like as a gift, and she's like, "Oh, I already got them, the silver shamrock masks."
Silver shamrock.
You know,
and they're much better masks than what he brought. And he's a doctor, for God's sake.
And they're like the hot item that like has been ads on TV.
And you would think if like you're a dad trying to impress your kids, maybe you pay attention to what's going on with kids.
Right. Yeah. And no, he goes like, all right, well, I'm going to see him for Halloween, whatever. And he leaves the house.
Nope.
No, he decides to run off with like a 20-something-year-old daughter.
To the point of where he had to ask her how old she was.
After he had sex with her.
Well,
he banged her. They're laying in bed after lovemaking, and she crawls on him again. And he's like, oh, don't you ever get tired? And she's like, no. And then he's like, wait, how old are you? It's like you already fucked her. It's over. If she's underage, you already fucked up here.
Yeah, that was no good.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
She also asks him where he would like to sleep. And then they did like something completely unearned. He comes and gives her a kiss. Like, well, that's a stupid question, Ellie. And he like gives her a kiss. I'm like,
well, because it's like
you have no chemistry.
I can sleep on the floor if you'd like. Blah blah blah.
I
Where
could sleep
would you
out
like to sleep? She's like totally fucking seducing this doctor, old man. Her dad just died.
Yep.
He was there when her dad died.
Yep.
And this is their responsibility level. It's just fucking hilarious.
Also love the fact that like he's basically low key like an alcoholic. Like when they're leaving, she finds him in a bar. And that's one of the sort of the beginning setup of it. But then as they're leaving to go to the town where the masks are made, he's got a 6-pack with him. He does. He calls work and he's like, I can't come in today.
Well, and when they get there, he sneaks out of the hotel to go buy a bottle of booze. Yeah. And then like this homeless guy stops him. Just like the one person that lives in this town other than the creepy fucking mask people.
Yeah.
Stops him. And is like, tells him basically like, they're listening to us right now. I'm going to burn the plant down. It's
Genius.
like, hey, dumbass, if you know they're listening, why would you ever say this?
I love the fact that this movie has both witchcraft and robots.
It has robots, yeah. So the business suit guys are robots made by this super rich, and he got rich like selling novelty items too, which is a funny little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, they end up at this factory. There's this commercial playing for like that's the setup of the movie. Basically, the threat is that there's this commercial for Silver Shamrock novelties.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids.
So they're playing this tune as like the advertisement. All the kids want this hot new toy, and this Irish guy, this like older Irish guy, who honestly I think gives a good like cheesy performance, like as the evil, you know. Like you can tell he had some panache and some like he probably had some old school horror movie like credits to his name. He knows how to play that like
agree to disagree.
Oh, he's great. He was great.
He was cheesy as hell.
He was straight out of like an old like Bela Lugosi Dracula movie or something.
I suppose.
Yeah, he was good. He was fine. Just fine. But
he's perfect for the movie he's in.
Correct. Yes. But he makes good. These yeah, he's good. He's fine. What do you want? What do you want from him?
What I'm saying is he's perfect for the movie that he's in,
which isn't good.
Exactly.
But they said, here's your role, play it this way. And he played it exactly how it should be played. Yeah. It's perfect for what he's doing. He's a fucking cartoony, like, evil.
But what he's doing is ridiculous.
He's a mustache twirling evil.
I'm just saying,
owner.
I'm not sure if there's a single good performance in this entire movie.
I would say that's good, but it's not hard. It's not particularly like difficult.
Right.
It's pretty good.
He's a cartoon.
I don't think that the main character actor, I don't think it's a bad performance. It's just there's no way that any of this can be taken really seriously.
To put it to anybody who hasn't seen this is a Mystery Science Theater movie that hasn't shown up on Mystery Science Theater.
It's got a little bit higher production value than most of that shit.
More money was put into it, but as far as like
it's polished, it doesn't look ugly. You know what I mean?
But as far as like nonsensical plots, characters doing things that make no sense, no themes, ridiculousness, it fits in perfectly there. God.
Yeah, so they go to this plant where they make the masks and shit,
right.
And there's a mystery behind this. But basically the deal is that all of these masks have like a little microchip in them.
That has a part of Stonehenge in it.
Yes, and when the kids... And when the commercial, there's a contest, there's a giveaway at 9 on Halloween night.
Yep.
And all the kids are going to gather around their television sets with their masks on. And I actually kind of like the bit when they like show all the different cities where like the people are wearing the masks and they're trick-or-treating and stuff.
Right.
But when they do this, all these kids are going to like melt basically down, and these bugs and snakes and shit are going to crawl out of them and kill everyone in the houses that this happens in.
I love one of my favorite scenes that like made me laugh was there's a woman who's like a salesman and she shows up to the town to get more of the masks. Well, the chip falls off. And she's like, "Ooh, what's this? There's a microchip on the back." And she starts tinkering with it with her hairpin, and it blasts her face in. This laser beam just comes out of nowhere, knocks her face fucking inside itself. And then, because you have no idea what's going on, and then like a bug crawls out of her mouth. And I laughed so hard because I was like,
hilarious.
Because I was like, wait. I thought it just lasered her face off. And no, no. It lasered a bug into her face.
Yeah, it turns them into bugs.
It's a bug laser beam.
Yep. And then that scene really sets up a fun one too when like the Irish guy who we're talking about with like his
She'll get the best care.
Yes.
Where are you
and
taking
then turns
her?
around and like doesn't whisper at all and starts saying like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but like the doctor's standing right there. Listening to you.
I do. The doctor's question is great. Where are you? I'm a doctor. Well, one, that's my favorite thing is like they're all in coats. Like they all look like they could work at a hospital. The people
why
who
would
pick
he
her up.
assume there wasn't a doctor?
He's like, I'm a doctor. Finally gets through and he's like, where are you going to take her? We're going to take her to the warehouse. What?
It's so good. It's so good.
This is your room. That's what this is.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. It is the camp, like the scenes in this, like before you know they're robots, they have a scene where one of the robot guys like rips someone's head off.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
yep.
Like if you're a person who doesn't know they're robots, like the first time you ever watch this, you're just like, that's unrealistic.
Well, this was the first time I watched it.
There you go.
And so the first kill that comes from a robot person is he like pulls like the bridge of some dude's. He kills the father by pulling like the bridge of his nose, and like pulls it up. And I was like, okay, well, not realistic, but maybe possible. I know that you can like crush people's cartilage, you know. Well, like, they say that, like, if you want to kill somebody, you can slam somebody's cartilage into their brain. So I'm like, okay, maybe. But then he goes and he lights himself on fire. So I'm like, well, this is weird. But then when they rip the dude's head off, I'm like, okay, so it's either demons or robots. It's one of the two. It can't be anything else. Those are your options.
So fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I'm like,
it's trying to take pieces of like different kinds of horror movies that have been done before and put it into like a cohesive thing, and it doesn't. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers feel
Right.
to it, where like there's these weird people that don't really emote much standing around. What's up with these people? And then there's like the cheesy like kids movie aspect of it with the tune. It's just fucking weird.
I hate that like the song keeps coming into the episode, into the fucking movie.
Oh, it's great. I love the song.
Happy, happy Halloween.
Like they're listening to the radio and it comes on there and I'm like, I didn't even know you guys were listening to the radio because it just starts like after they have.
I can't avoid this song.
He's a terrible father. He's a terrible, terrible father. He's a bad boyfriend. This was a little weird to me too. Yeah, I'm thinking about like rated R rating and whatnot.
Oh, certainly.
And they have the sex scene between him and the girl.
Where he's like covering the nipple perfectly so you don't see nipple.
Well, he does that, but then he goes in and he like goes in for the sucking on the nipple. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty risque even for a rated R movie. Like, I'm like, normally there's no mouth to nipple action. But that was the first. I was like,
it was a creative way of covering the nipple.
Yeah,
it was actually in her contract. She couldn't show nipple.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I feel like there was a little bit of a nip slip there.
What's
I felt
funny,
like I saw a
maybe
little tiny
there was,
bit.
but it wasn't supposed to be there. I watched the special features the other day. What's funny about that is like, what would you rather have on film? Like your nipple or old man doctor sucking your nipple?
I was like, man, she is really slumming it because this dude is 20 years.
It is hilarious that this movie is like has like found its audience, and it's one where I plan on this will not be the last time I've watched it. I've watched this a few times.
I'll probably watch it again.
It's something else. It really is.
It's so dumb.
I can see it as like a friendly gathering you have once a year where you just sit around and watch Halloween 3.
You watch it. It's a movie that will never scare you.
No.
It will never scare
There's
you.
nothing scary in this at all.
And you will laugh so much.
It's great. It really is fucking hysterical.
I laughed more in this than I laughed when I was watching Venom.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Like
way funnier than Venom.
Like by a landslide.
Yes, it's not close. It's way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's got more, like, at least you've talked about in the past, like movies when they, they're trying. They're doing something a little creative or fun or whatever.
Right.
Might not always work.
Yeah.
This is an example of that.
None of it works. But it's for me, it's borderline The Room because virtually nothing works. Now the production
it's way better than The Room.
Like the production is better. Like the sets are better and like there aren't weird audio things.
Yes.
I did not hit her. Stuff like that. But it's such a spectacular failure on like story and acting and just it's so fucking ridiculous.
I think there's a self-awareness to its campiness.
Maybe.
They might deny it.
Yeah.
Like they might deny it, but I think they knew.
Maybe.
You know
and if
what I
they
mean?
knew, then good on them.
Yeah.
Then good on them for knowing what they were doing. I do love like it has some of those like standard horror things too where like dude at the beginning is getting choked by the guy. And instead of trying to get the guy off of him by like punching or rolling or whatever, he pulls like a chain that's like got a car brake
Like a wedge
block.
underneath a car tire.
Yeah, so the car comes and smashes the robot.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I will say, the second that dude was killed, I was like, oh man, that seems awfully like he's a robot. And I love when the dad punches the middle of the robot.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I like the music in it. Like although I'm just a sucker for like 80s synth type stuff. I mean, it's that cheesy like
I felt like there was a moment where I liked the music, but overall I was just
it started as the movie went on, it lessened.
Actually, I will say, I think at the beginning I liked it because it was the pure like
it changes.
The first shot is of a dude running like on a street with like the standard blue night that you saw in the 80s all the time. I miss that shit too. That's what these movies made me realize is I miss like the 80s aesthetic.
You should
of, like,
see because I didn't like it very much, but it was a throwback. It was the latest, The Strangers Pray at Night.
Okay.
I mean, that's totally what they were going for.
I just
like,
love
that was
that.
the whole aesthetic. What they were going for was like the late, like empty streets, like street lights, all that kind of shit.
I love the lighting that creates, and it looks really cool. And that's when I thought that this could still be a movie.
It is a movie.
It's a movie, but you know what I mean. Like a real
Happy Halloween, Alex.
Because it's like fucking.
I love the classic villain tells the whole plot, the whole plan to the guy.
Why doesn't he kill them?
And then he leaves him like tied up in a chair. Here, he puts the mask on him.
I'm glad you can watch it.
Yeah.
Why?
And Halloween's on at that scene, too.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And it's funny because they use the score of the movie that's on. Like, they try to blend it in as because you're watching it and you're like, oh, wow, the score of the original Halloween is playing on the TV, but you're trying to use it as if it's the score of your movie.
Right.
And it kind of works.
Yeah.
But again, it's another one of those things where it's like people watching it must have just been like, no.
No, fuck you. Fuck yeah. I imagine at that time I would have been pissed. This would have been like my Marvel series, and I'd have been pissed. It'd be like it's like the Iron Man 3 of the Halloween series.
Oh.
It doesn't belong.
It is bizarre.
It's weird.
And it's funny that they just went back and made the next one Halloween 4.
Yeah, the return of Michael Myers. Good for them.
Why wouldn't they just say
Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
Halloween 3? That last movie never happened. And then rebranded as Season of the Witch. You know,
did rebranding exist at the time?
I don't know. It would now. Like
it would now.
What was
Absolutely.
it? Live, die, repeat.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the other title was.
But yeah,
now.
they're just like, well, Halloween 4.
Right.
And yeah, they were smart by naming it The Return of Michael Myers because it's like, okay, we
get
know,
it. Yep.
We know.
God. So I love the fact that the girl gets saved at the end, and then she's a robot.
Okay,
like,
and they don't explain whether or not she's like just turned into a robot later,
or she always was a robot. If she was always a robot, she was the most lifelike robot of them all.
Yes.
I mean,
what do you think?
Oh, I think she was turned into a robot. I don't think. From what we saw with all the other robots, he did not have the capacity to make a robot actually like really truly like emote.
Yes, I would agree. But at the end, she's still like emoting in the car.
Yeah, that's so weird. And then, well, and in all honesty, I trust I trust old Stashy to know a real woman when he's getting
sucking
intimate.
on that nipple.
Sucking on that nipple.
I mean, he didn't know they were robots till he like pulled the fucking yellow mustard
but he didn't suck on their nipples.
That's true. He did not suck on a nipple on that scene. But yeah, no, I think it could go either way. Although it doesn't make sense that they would send a robot to go get him. Like, hey, our plan's going to go off without a hitch, without any problems.
Let's go and get this guy.
Let's go get this guy to ruin it. So yeah, she can't be.
But either way, it makes no sense because they haven't established that he can just like
turn anyone,
yeah, or make a
but
robot
it's funny because you
duplicate.
can see the filmmakers writing the script. Oh, you know, it'd be a neat twist. She's a robot.
I also love.
Okay, fuck it. Let's just put it in there.
You know, it's a great ending. The fact that he just keeps on yelling, "Turn off the TVs! Turn it off!"
I like that.
I thought it was so dumb because
come on though. It's so clearly like self-aware campiness. Turn it off! Turn it off! It's good. I like it.
I love the fact that he calls the TV stations and he's just like, no, I can't prove it. Just take it off the TV.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
They just take it off the TV. Why?
Because he's a police officer.
No, he's not. He's a doctor.
Or a doctor.
Because I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor. Right.
Take it off the TV. I'm a doctor.
Doctors.
Right. Oh, I also, the guy who like runs the gas station or whatever, the guy who brings in the dad at the beginning of the movie. That's a little racially insensitive there with the way they did him.
That's how they used to do it.
Yep. It was pretty bad. Oh man. It was such it was a weird movie in that like I felt like a divorced dad wrote it. And he's like, I'm such a hero. And he's like, okay, well, this is what my ex-wife is
'cause
like.
he wouldn't have.
This is what
that's kind of true.
This is what the
She's
black
a nagging whore.
This is what the black people are like.
And I'm the savior.
And this is what the Irish are like.
The Irish. It is funny to me. Yeah, they have the Stonehenge.
Yeah.
The guy got a big piece of Stonehenge. And how we got it here, you will not believe. And then
I'll never explain it.
Yeah, right.
I'll explain everything else. Except for probably the most interesting thing that I've done today. I stole Stonehenge.
This is the ultimate, like, everybody, I always tell people they have to see it. It's like one of those, like, you got to see this. It's so fucking bizarre.
Yes.
Just the fact that it exists is bizarre.
It's your room.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it's The Room bad.
I'm not saying it's
in
as
any
bad.
way. Way.
I'm not saying it's as bad. I'm just saying it's so ridiculous. You have to see this. Can you believe that this was made?
Yeah, but no, but The Room is like its own thing. This is like doubly weird because it's this little nugget in this like highly successful franchise that was like, what the fuck happened here?
What were you thinking?
You had to have had multiple ideas. Like you had to have been like, okay, we're gonna make you can see the boardroom.
Yep.
Let's come up with an anthology Halloween story. The first one we're gonna make is this one. This is gonna be what we take off our new idea with.
The Robo-Irish.
The time to do it would have been 2.
Yes.
Because then you have like, okay, Halloween, that was the first.
Yep.
You know, we can spin that off. We can make the Michael Myers movies.
Right.
And then 2, we'll do
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
With no witch?
It failed. Let's do something new.
Yeah.
You know.
It is kind of funny because there was a little bit of like, you think you know the real reason of Halloween. But you don't.
Yes.
Fucking
correct.
kids going out. It's like it almost wants to have a message, but there's no message.
What is his goal?
The planets were aligned, Jackson.
Like, but what is his like?
The planets were aligned, Jackson.
It's time to repeat.
Planets.
I love, that's the director who does that voice. I love that. Everyone gather around your TV sets. It's like,
oh my God.
Everyone and don't forget the giveaway at 9.
The weirdest thing to me, the absolute weirdest thing in the movie, and this is a movie with robots and whatever. The weirdest thing is the fact that children all across the nation are obsessed with a commercial. That's the weirdest.
Because there's a giveaway, though.
Yeah.
You have to have the hot new item, and there's a giveaway.
Did they know that? I felt like the original commercial didn't bring up a giveaway.
It did. I'm sure they knew about the giveaway.
And also, it was kind of weird because they had a commercial for every day.
Yeah, they do that in real life, though.
I know, but I'm just saying that's more expensive, like from an advertising.
Halloween,
right?
Halloween.
8 more days to Halloween. Silver Shamrock. We did it. Dude, that was so bad.
Dude, when I first saw this like on DVD or whatever years ago, and I put the disc in, and like that's the like menu music, I was like,
what am I getting myself
into? I'm
into?
going to kill myself before I press play on this thing.
Well, I knew I was in for something weird when the credits are rolling and it's all like 8-bit backgrounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
It's so fucking great. I can't believe it exists.
It's so weird. But I'm just saying, like, I have younger brothers and sisters, and I know myself as a kid. I never got into anything unless it was like a cartoon. You know what I mean? Now,
are you saying that maybe this movie isn't accurate to the beat of the...
And this is where like I stand up outside my body and I look at myself and I say, really? This is what you're holding on to?
Yeah,
but like none of
that was really, I'm buying the robots part and the bugs part, but the commercial...
I'm just saying it just added to the list of things that don't make any sense in this movie.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them, but it's great.
It's
something.
It's entertaining. It's better than Halloween 2 because at least it entertained me.
Yeah, it's way better than Halloween 2. Way better.
I don't know what I'd give this. I mean, realistically, it's probably like a D- or an F movie because it's so ridiculous.
It's a D something. I like it. I'll give it we'll call this a personal B because I have so much fun with this. Like you talk about a B movie, quote unquote.
Right.
It's like the essence of like a shitty B movie.
This is like, I'm going to come up with a new grading system. This is like real grade, entertainment value grade.
Yeah.
This is like a B or an A for entertainment value
absolutely.
grade. But actual quality is like an F.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But
it's fantastic.
That's the first 3 Halloween movies.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about continuing the series now.
We could do 4, 5, and 6 on another episode just for the fuck of it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll do that as shit
Paul
we watched.
Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd shows up as the grown-up kid.
In Donald Pleasance's last role, his last film.
Was that H2O or was that...
No, it was...
the Return?
The Curse.
Oh, The Curse. Which one's that? Is that 5?
That's 6. 4 and 5 is the Jamie Lloyd, I think that's her name, little thread. There's like a new main character and whatever.
Do you think she's going to...
I think in 4 and 5, Jamie Lee Curtis is dead. And her daughter is the one being chased by Michael now.
So, couple questions. Do you think that Jamie Lloyd?
I want to say that was like the name of the character.
Okay. So, do you think that Jamie Lloyd shows up in the new Halloween?
No.
A la Ice Cube in The Return of Xander Cage? Because you got to tie them all together.
No, but the actress who played Jamie Lloyd was in the Rob Zombie movies as a different character.
Okay. And then my next question is, going into the new Halloween, do you think that the new Halloween has any chance of being anything less than either the second best or the best of the series?
I think it's going to be the second best one.
You don't think it's going to be as good as one?
No.
I don't think, I mean, there's no way it'll be as influential, but
No.
I think there's a really good chance that as a movie, like with deep characters and like less tropey.
Well, the Jamie Lee Curtis's character is going to be far more interesting because she's going to have like a new backstory and way more character, I would imagine.
But I know that...
What are your predictions here for this? What do you think they do with this?
In all honesty, I have no idea what they're going to do because I don't know if they want to start a franchise and keep it going.
Right.
I would say that they probably want to start a franchise over again.
Okay.
If I were to
does
guess.
Jamie Lee die in this then?
I think she dies.
She dies. I would agree.
I think she dies or she... Now, I guess the question really is does Michael Myers kill her? I don't think Michael Myers kills her. I think she dies in an unrelated way.
Oh, there's a prediction. How much of this is nostalgia bait? Is this a Force Awakens Halloween style?
Oof.
I think it is.
I think there's no... Because in all honesty, in the trailers, we haven't seen anything other than it's just Halloween.
Right.
Again.
Yes, correct.
So there's no hint at a new plot other than he got out.
It seems that she is like some sort of a like doomsday prepper type who's been waiting and ready for him to get out. Like she's living just knowing that at some point he's coming back.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting to me. That sounds like an interesting thread.
I like it because it gives her character something to do, and maybe we can go into like, she's alienated her children or whatever because of it. But I think that there's a real chance that just from a pure film perspective, it'll probably be the best one. Because like production value will be better. A lot of things will be better.
Yeah, but that's true. But that's unfair to the one that came before it.
It's like cultural...
I mean, there's no way it'll be as good as 3.
There's a real chance it might not be as fun. There's a real chance of that. There's a real chance of that.
I'm
Holy
excited
shit.
though. But I'm excited. We will tell you what we think next week.
Yep, it's coming. So thanks for tuning in on the bonus episode.
Have a spooky Halloween.
All right, Jackson.
I shot him 6 times. What? I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart.
Can't have gotten very far. Come on.
I shot him 6 times. This guy, this man, he's not human. This guy's not human. This guy shot him
Samhain.
6 times.